Evening, everyone. I hope as you join me tonight that you are well and that you're blessed and that you've had a brilliant afternoon. I'm really excited to be able to record this video tonight and to share with you some of the thinking and the possibilities that exist due to the changes and the moving into phase 3 of the COVID guidance. I want to begin by saying a massive thank you again to all of those who joined for the Zoom meeting on Wednesday night. It was really helpful to do that, and I personally speaking, I found it so helpful not to be contemplating things in a vacuum or discussing them with just a small group of folks, but to speak with the wider church and to hear some of the thoughts and the feelings and the heart of the wider church in regard to the situation that we find ourselves in. I also want to begin by saying there is no right or wrong method of direction in this. We see different churches doing different things. I know of many local churches which are staying closed at the moment and will look again in phase 4. That's absolutely fine. And there are others that opened as soon as they possibly could. And again, that's absolutely fine. For us in our church, I felt very strongly that we needed to come together and to discuss where our heart was. And I'm really grateful that we were able to do that. And I'm really excited to be able to say that our plan is to open the evening services again as soon as we possibly can. Now, I'm not given a specific date for that for a very simple reason. There are things that we have to put in place. And these things in place, the redesigning of the hall, adopting a new data protection policy and ensuring that's correct, that it's reflective of what it needs to be for us as a church, because there is a new one just been announced by or published by the Scottish Government for this very reason, because we will need to be part of the test and protect system that is in place. Ensuring that we've designed the hall as well as we possibly can, ensuring that we have all the stuff that's required for us to be able to welcome people. And essentially what I'm saying is that once we have the things in place, to know that we can offer the space to gather again before God as his people and to do it safely, this space will be open. What I want essentially is for you to feel that we're not just hastily throwing the doors open and hoping for the best and that this virus would just simply stay away. We are listening and we are ensuring that we are following all the guidance to ensure that this space is as safe as it possibly can be for the people who choose and trust us to gather in this space. So that's why I'm not setting a specific date. I am saying as soon as possible, and I really, really mean that. I'm not saying as soon as possible, but I will leave it a couple of weeks. I'm saying as soon as we possibly and safely can. And I will be able to confirm a date for that fairly shortly. So I'm sorry that part is vague, but what I'm not wanting to do is set a date which is too far away and where I could actually open quicker. And equally, I don't want to set a date and think, well, actually, we're not going to be able to manage that date and we're going to have to reschedule it. I don't want to have to do that. So I guess I'm asking that you trust me that I do actually mean what I say, and that as soon as we possibly can, these doors will be open for an evening service in that space. Now, I'm excited about that. I can't wait to be with you guys again in this space and to discover new riches about our faith in Jesus Christ, because the service that we will have in this space will be quite different to anything that we are normally used to. There will, of course, be the 2 meters distance, and you will likely be escorted in and perhaps out of the building by a steward. We will, of course, need a record of those who attend. I am still clarifying when it comes to masks, because we're getting conflicting information about whether those are mandatory or not. But I can say very confidently right now that there will, of course, be the exclusions that exist in businesses and in multiple other areas for those who have sensory issues or other circumstances which prevent them from wearing a mask. So I'm going to get back to you on and confirm that one for certainty. So things will be a little bit different when we get together. The building layout will be different. The service structure will be different. There will be different ways that we need to look to do things. But I see that as something that we should be excited by, that we should anticipate that we're going to discover amazing treasures as we do that together. Because I believe that the God who knows the beginning from the end, the God who knew that this moment would come, He has things that He intends that we learn and discover and make part of the richness of our faith in this time. Embrace the opportunity. This is an opportunity. It's an opportunity to finally gather again. But equally, it's an opportunity to discover fresh, life-giving realities of our faith that perhaps we've looked past in these years because just of the way that we traditionally do things. We have to mix it up a bit. And I'm excited by that, and I encourage us all to be. But I would stress that when we gather here again, it will be different. And we should anticipate that that's going to be the case. But come open and come ready not just to participate in a service, but even to share ideas. Come ready to share testimony. Come ready to share verses which God has really spoken to you through, or songs that God has really spoken to you through. But I want to stress that one of the verses which has been on my mind is in Hebrews 10:25, and let us not neglect meeting together as some people do, but encourage one another, especially now as the day is drawing near. I want to just be very clear that the desire of my heart and the desire, I'm sure, of all our hearts is that we can meet together as soon as we can, and that we can do that safely. We can do it within the guidance and the restrictions that are in place. There are certain things that need to be in place, and with integrity I'm saying that I want to ensure all that stuff is in place, and that I have a good understanding of it and that the other deacons have a good understanding of it, so that we can ensure that we are working confidently within the guidance. And trust me, we are going to be putting every effort into having all that stuff in place as soon as we possibly can. Indeed, much of it is already ongoing to ensure that we have it in place. So we are working hard to create that space for us to come together, and it's my heart's desire that we can do so. But I would be going against the person that God has made me and the experience that I have, especially as I once, my previous profession was a nurse, to haphazardly do this. We're going to do it right, we're going to do it properly, and we're going to do it as safely as we can, because there are risks in gathering together. But we can minimise those risks, and the guidance is intended that we minimise those risks. So that's exactly what we're going to do. I encourage us to be praying. Encourage us to be praying for what God can do with us and through us as we gather again. Keep praying that the numbers of COVID cases keep dropping, because that's the only way we're going to get to the kind of meaningful gathering that we very clearly longed for on Wednesday. And that's not possible. I think we all recognise that at the moment with the restrictions as they currently are. There's only one way to get rid of those restrictions. And one of the most powerful ways we can do that is to be praying for our nation and praying for our leaders and praying for our health workers and our key workers and the frontline workers, so that we continue to see the numbers of this virus dropping. I deliberately chose to speak tonight from the background in which I would normally speak on a Sunday morning or evening. There's something symbolic about doing that, recognising that we are indeed getting to that space where we can open up the evening service again. The morning services, as I said, certainly for the next 4 weeks, will remain as they currently are. We will be, of course, reviewing that. The next big government review is on the 30th, as I said this morning. And on the basis of that, of course, we will continue to adjust what we can and can't do accordingly. But there are different variables that play in the morning and what there are in the evening, recognising that if this space is full of people, I'm no longer talking to you who's watching. That connection that I hope is there in the mornings at the moment will be lost, because for those watching at home, they will not be watching in this way. I will instead be talking to the people in the room, and at some point you may get a passing glance. We accept there is going to be a disconnect at that moment. We need to time when we do that well, so that those who are shielded and those who can't be in the morning service, either through capacity or for the health reasons, those risks are minimised as much as possible. I hope we are encouraged by that. We are at a stage now where we can look at gathering again. And I am so excited by that. I'm so excited to see what God is going to do in this time. God is at work in all things. And there's things that we will discover about him and about our relationship with him and how we can engage individually and communally with him in this season. So there is treasure to be found. Anticipate that. Be excited by that. And we're going to be working now on getting things like the registration system up and going, most likely via online, but we'll be using other means, so you could text me or whatever to ensure that people who maybe aren't always accessing the online stuff still have the option to take part. In fact, they're the key people that we want to be taking part in the evening, because maybe not everybody's accessing the morning stuff as easily as others are. But I want us to be encouraged. I want us to be anticipating. I want us to be excited, because the things that, yes, we're not going to meet together in the way that we maybe like, but the options to meet are there now. And we're going to take advantage of those. And I believe strongly that in the midst of that, God will show us fresh value and treasure about meeting with him as a gathered people. We won't be able to do it how we normally would in an evening, but you know what? Let's embrace that and accept that that is what it is. But there's going to be things that we discover through it. So I offer you tonight this video. I'm trying to offer you my excitement and hope that this becomes your excitement, and to recognize equally that I am very clear on saying that what we put in place will be in adherence with the guidance, and will be to ensure that those who come into this building and trust actually we've put the safest things in place will indeed be proven justified in that trust. We will make this space and these events as safe as we possibly can, because we will follow the guidance and we will ensure that we are doing all the things that are being asked of us as we safely gather. So take care and stay safe. And again, if you have questions or if you have ideas about things that we can try, please get in touch. Let's allow God to really create something unique within the restrictions that we have. So take care, stay safe, and God bless.